Hey, this is Silvanus Nwafo of NurtureSkills.net. I am super excited to introduce to you my course titled the Professional Website Design Course. It's a great course, and I'm sure that by hopping onto this course, you're going to enjoy it greatly. In this particular video, I'm going to walk you through exactly step by step the outline of the course so that you can understand as you move along. But before we go any further, it is critical I show you the approach to this course. And the first approach is the economical approach to the course. And the second one is the practical approach to the course. And the last one is the theoretical approach to the course. These are critical areas. As you move along, you get to understand all these areas as it helps you to be a full-time website designer professionally. Not just knowing how to design websites, but also knowing how to relate with your customer, knowing how to relate with your tools, and knowing how to ensure that your websites are not just unique, but they are effective and profitable. Join me in this line. Okay, already we've seen it is the economical, the practical, and the theoretical approach to the course. And it's also important I also let you know that this course also has a book and a DVD. Not just one DVD inside, but two DVD. The first DVD, of course, tells you about website designing. And the other video talks about SEO and marketing. And these are the two DVDs that are in one pack. Okay? And for the sake of this, so many people prefer to come physically for this course, and some other people prefer to either buy the book and the DVD. But this time around, because of the overall pandemic, the coronavirus, this time around we are doing the course online. For as many of you that want to purchase the course, I bet you, I promise you, you are going to enjoy it big time. Okay, now it's important critically we look at the two major areas we are going to be creating website with our professional website design course, the CORELDRAW approach. It's critical. As we move on, I'm going to be also telling you why the CORELDRAW approach in the introduction of the course. Okay, now two major ways we are going to create websites in this particular course is the manual method and the automatic method. Now, in the manual method of the course, I'm going to show you how you're going to create your website from scratch with HTML and CSS. Of course, that's where we're going to be talking about DREAMWEAVER, and we're going to create a website. We're going to take a practical approach to it because we're going to take a particular website of a school called Kids World and design the site and code the site from very scratch. Of course, we can say code or we can say development. Okay, now the next angle that we're going to look at this course is going to cover also is the automatic approach to creating websites. Today, 2020 and onwards, these two major approaches are really critical. Now, under the automatic method of creating websites, that is where we're going to consider WordPress. We're going to look at WordPress. WordPress, of course, is the world's most popular content management system, and we are going to be looking at that as we roll along in the course. Great. Now, the first thing now is the introduction. Quickly, I'm going to show you why did we talk about the CORELDRAW approach. Of course, CORELDRAW provides you the flexibility to be able to design your websites compared to other graphic packages. Okay, and that is why we actually choose CORELDRAW. And apart from that, also over 90% of designers right here in Nigeria are really comfortable with the package called CORELDRAW. So that is why we went that route, because of course it will not be viable to go a route where people are not to use an application or a program or a software that people are not conversant with. So that is why we went with the CORELDRAW, because CORELDRAW is popular here in Nigeria and a lot of people use the package. So that's why we went that route. Okay, now the next step we want to look at there is understanding the client brief. Recall vividly when I talked about the approach to the course, I said it's economical, it's practical, it's theoretical. Now, the understanding the client's brief is that this course is not just a course you want to do and sit down and just do it and drop it. No, it's a course that's programmed for you to be able to do real life websites for customers, for clients. They're in school, in church, or any organization you belong to. Of course, today we all know the importance of our technological world, and the fact that a lot of people are embracing technology through online platforms, and websites are what powers all this great IT technology that we see all over the world. So that's the more reason why you need to understand the client's brief. Well, I'm going to show you how you are going to understand what the client wants with his website, what it entails for the client he wants to do his website, all the requirements, all the questions to ask, all the things that you need to know about the client's brief in designing great and awesome and unique and effective and profitable websites for the client. The next thing we want to look at there is the idea. Like I mentioned clearly from the book, the idea is you want to create a unique website. Recall vividly, like I mentioned earlier, I said you want to create 1, unique, 2, effective, and 3, profitable websites. So these are the 3 critical areas we want to look at. We want to create a unique website, an effective website, and we want to create a profitable website. As we move along, we're going to be looking at the tools that we need to ensure that we get this cracking as we move along. Okay, now the idea is, now what idea are you going to introduce to that particular design, to that particular website that differentiates you from all others? Today we see different kinds of websites. Everybody is coming up with a site. Everybody is improving their website. Name, is it Facebook, is it YouTube, is it Instagram, and all that? Everybody is improving on their website, all in the essence of trying to make sure that they are unique, that they are different from others. Everybody wants to be different from others. In the real sense of it, everybody actually is different from others. So that's what we're looking at in that area, that we want to create unique websites. The idea there generates, and in the book I outline how you can generate great ideas, over 9 ideas in the book that I mentioned, of how you can generate ideas for your website in order to make it unique. So those are the great things that you're going to learn as you move on in the course. The next thing here is we want to design visuals. We can see that here in the book, in which is actually in chapter 3 of the book. If you have the book, either you have the book, or you have either the physical book, or you have the book in soft copy. Okay, now in designing your visuals with CorelDRAW and Photoshop, I show you critically from these 3 pointers here how you can make your designs unique using CorelDRAW. Here, sorry, I just want to write the short form of CorelDRAW as CDR, and how you can make your website load efficiently, how you can reduce unnecessary resources on your site to ensure that your website is effective, especially when it has to do with the user. Who are you designing a unique website for? For the user. Who do you want to make the website good for? Is for the user, because of course you want to avoid bounce rate. Bounce rate is a critical metric in Google, that somebody lands on your website and your website is like doing like this, doing their eyes like this as if they want to faint, you know. So, and you don't want that. You want your website to load as fast as it can, so that you keep your customers, you keep your visitors on end to expect more from you. That's great. The next thing we want to look at is we want to request for down payment. I always like to make reference to the approach to our course, which is economical. Of course, you don't want to take too much time to design and do a lot of work only for the customer to say, okay, go ahead and do that. I'm talking from the practical point of view. Know in clear terms that this particular course is being taught by a professional. I'm not just telling you this to make you happy and to jump. No, these are things that I am doing practically with clients, relating with them, teaching you all these steps that you need to know on how to relate with the clients. Okay, so after all the hard work of designing and probably optimizing your website, you want to ask of a commitment. It is important that if you are committed in doing a good job for the clients, of course, website design work entails a lot of work. Design, you develop or you code, and you deploy. Okay, and all that we are going to be looking at as we move along. So in your own bit, in your own angle, probably you'd have done your own work. The next line of action is to get the commitment of the customer to pay a down payment before you proceed. So those are the critical things that we're going to be looking at as we move on in the course. The next critical point that we want to look at is domain name and hosting. Domain name and hosting. Right here in Nigeria, of course, your domain depends on the extension of what you are doing. Okay, the extension of your the domain that you want. Okay, your domain name could be something like .com, .com.ng, .net, .biz.ng. Okay, that .ng, they are all domain name extensions. Okay, for instance, you want your website name to be chidinma.com.ng, or you want it to be chidinma.ng. Of course, there are different costs that you need to know about, okay, relating with your hosting company, and so that you can know about all these cost implications before you charge your customers. Okay, these are critical things that we're going to be looking at: domain name, hosting, and all that. Okay, the next line we want to move now into is coding with Dreamweaver and WordPress. Okay, recall vividly when I told you that we are creating website for us here. We're looking at two major areas, which is the manual method and the automatic method. Okay, now in coding Dreamweaver here, in this particular 7-pointer to our course outline here, is we're going to look at how we can take a website from scratch and code it using Dreamweaver application, software, and program, whatever name you wish to call it. Okay, so and then the next line that I want to also look at is WordPress. WordPress, like I mentioned earlier, is a content management system that enables you to create websites automatically. Some even say that you can create your website without even looking at a single code. Okay, so that's about that. And then we'll move on to animation with Flash and jQuery. I quickly made a no pointer to Flash, but then if you want to do some other stuff online that doesn't have implications to do with your ranking and all that, you have to find a way of knowing some things about Flash and jQuery. But in this particular video, we'll focus more on jQuery. We're going to be using going into the basics of JavaScript, and especially focusing on jQuery to create an image slider, so we get to understand how this thing works from the background. The next thing we want to look at is test running our sites locally. There are two major areas two major ways you can test run your site. You can test run your site locally on your system, or you can test run it live on the server, which of course will be powered by or your hosting company, any which way that is. Okay, then the next thing we want to do is we are going to also learn how we can upload our website, and in that line we also look at cross-browser compatibility. Cross-browser compatibility, if you're mentioning browsers, of course we have different types of browser today. Microsoft Edge, we have a Google Chrome, we have Mozilla Firefox, and quite a lot of other browsers that are coming up where you can view your websites on. Okay, and then we are going to go into reviewing and resolve. Why do we need to review and resolve? Of course, once you finish designing your website and you have tested your website locally and you move those sites to your server through your hosting company, of course, then you want to see, of course, from my own experience, there are other occasions where what you're seeing locally from your laptop or from your system will not be what you're going to see once you upload all those files and folders on the server live. Okay, so once we get there, we'll see how we can resolve issues around cross-browser compatibility, things that you might have done wrong on your site and that you need to fix before, of course, you can tell the client to view the site from their end. The next point I want to look at also is responsive web design. Now, what do I mean by responsive web design? Recently, Google made it a critical metric that if your sites are not mobile friendly, what does it mean for a site to be mobile friendly? It's simple as ABC. It's for you to create a particular site that views properly on desktop, on a tablet, and of course on your mobile phone. Okay, so this is what it means for a site to be responsive in the sense that whatever device your website is, it automatically adjusts itself to that particular device. Either the device is a desktop system, a tablet, or a mobile phone. Finally, we're going to be rounding up the course looking at SEO and online marketing. Of course, if you are familiar with this, SEO simply means search engine optimization. Search engine optimization. Of course, the most powerful search engine in the whole world today is Google, and you want to structure your website in a way that Google or search engines will find it conveniently and will be able to also rank your website, will index it also if that's what you're familiar with. Of course, from our own angle, that's the technical term. Your site will be indexed, and as of course once you have fulfilled the necessary requirement for first page ranking, you have your first page rank. So we look at all the strategies and tips, all the things, all the do's and don'ts that we need to look at from on-page and off-page SEO. Okay, the SEO angle is divided into two major areas. We're going to be looking at the on-page SEO and the off-page SEO. Okay, so we are going to be looking at all that, all in the angle of ensuring that our websites are profitable. So we can see that the three major things that we have mentioned here, that we want our site to look unique using CORELDRAW, we want our site to load faster using Photoshop, and we want to make our site profitable by virtue of the knowledge of search engine optimization, online marketing with Google Adwords. Okay, on my DVD, like I mentioned earlier, it has two DVDs there. The first one shows you design. The next one is Profit Online with Google using this particular DVD. This particular DVD has all the necessary steps, all the necessary things that you need to do on your page and off your page to ensure that you rank. Okay, here specifically we're going to be looking at Google AdWords to help us with our online marketing efforts to ensure that our site is getting the proper result, the proper objectives and the goals that we have set it out to achieve, especially when you're looking at your site as a critical marketing tool. Okay, so thank you very much. That is all we have. Let's get right in, as you're going to be enjoying more videos as we move into the practical area of designing our visions.